We're going to continue our discussion of flash equipment with various ways of mounting your flashes, various equipment involved in it, and the very important subject of light modifiers. These will provide your flash pictures with exactly the effect that you want. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. One of the most important accessories you can have for flash photography, not only manual flash, but any flash photography, is color correction and light modification gels. These can be found at your local theatrical supply house. They're called Roscoe gels, and they're used to balance lights within theaters. 3304 will turn your flash by rubber banding a piece of that material over the front of your flash, will turn your flash to be balanced to tungsten light. 3407, which is a CTO, or color correction, or color temperature orange, will balance it to tungsten light. So normally your flash is balanced to white light. So what you can do is you can rubber band a piece of these materials over the front and balance your light accordingly. You can also take the various other colors, shoot them onto backgrounds and so on and so forth for really great special effects. Another very important and inexpensive item is a light stand. You should probably have 4 or 5 of these, depending on how many flashes that you're using. Also with a corresponding light stand head that will allow you to swivel and tilt the flash to point it in the right direction. If you'll notice, the hole in the center of the light stand head has a hole in it, and this enables you to mount an umbrella. These are very important to have, and also very inexpensive. One of my favorite items in my lighting toolkit is the shoot-through umbrella. It makes the flash appear as a very large diffused lighting source, and it is a very handy thing to have. If you're going to do any kind of flash photography seriously, you need a white shoot-through umbrella. Another item that is handy to have, but I use less frequently, is a silver reflective umbrella. It makes the flash appear as a large light source, but much harsher than the white shoot-through umbrella. Similar to the silver reflective umbrella, there is the gold reflective umbrella. I find less of a use for this. It gives a warming tone to the subject that you're shooting. The only problem is this can possibly be better accomplished sometimes by filters. So this is an item that I use less frequently. A diffusion dome is an item that you never leave home without. What it does is it's placed over the top of the flash, and it sends the flash out in a 360-degree direction and pretty much evenly lights an indoor scene. It bounces off the walls and everything else to really create a nice effect. Purchased ones are $30 or so, but the good news is you can take a Chinese soup container, cut a slit in the top of it to allow your flash to be inserted into it, and it works just as well. This is something you always need to have. Bounce cards and gobos are also almost essential items to have. If you take your flash and put Velcro around the top of it, and if you put a little bit of Velcro on an index card, what you will find is you will find excellent gobos. You can take 3 or 4 gobos, and they act just like barn doors on expensive barn doors. On the bounce cards, if you take a piece of white typing paper and rubber band it around the top of the flash so that the 3/4 of the flash, the 2 sides and the rear of the flash, are covered by the typing paper, you will find that you have an absolutely perfect bounce card to take indoor flashes with. We'll talk more about using these later. But bounce cards and gobos are very important to have. Gobos in photography stands for go between the camera and the lights, or the camera and the light source, And they're basically used to mask out unwanted light. A snoot is another excellent example or an excellent item to have in your flash toolkit. Basically what it is it's a tunnel that your flash shoots through that allows the light to be confined to a beam for special effects lighting. We'll talk about this later. You can basically either buy a snoot, which is relatively, the $30–40 range, or you can make one either out of a cereal piece of, cardboard in a square cereal box, or, a square type tunnel arrangement, or a piece of rubber wrapped around the flash. You also want to watch the color of the interior. White sometimes leads to a lot of light bouncing around. You might want to have your snoot in a probably a flat black. But very important item to have is a snoot. This is another item that you can build totally yourself. Another very important item to have in your toolbox, your flash toolbox, is a flash grid. Basically, this is a honeycomb type material that you shoot the flash through. Black is usually more preferable, and they can be constructed of straws glued together in a shape that will fit into a cardboard outer container that will fit around your flash or whatever. But what they do is they give a more focused beam of light. The nice thing about these things that you build yourself is you can build them at different lengths and different angles and so on and so forth to provide that special effect for the flash type situation that you're trying to shoot. These items, it's sort of design it yourself, but they work just as well as the ones you pay a lot of money for. But a flash grid is another important item to have. Another important item to carry with you is a background. You can either purchase the ones that they sort of spring out and they're in a spring and they roll up and so on and so forth, or you can just go out and buy a lot of gray felt. The reason that we're emphasizing a neutral color like gray is you can shoot colored lights and so forth on the background and pretty much make the background any color that you want. If you start out with a blue, it's hard to turn that into a red or a warm background. But if you start out with gray and put a blue light on it, you've got a blue background or a colder background. A red light makes it a red or a yellow makes it a warmer background. These are important. Now, in this video, we've not talked about reflectors. We're going to go into that, and basically when we talk about the basic shooting. In the next video, we're going to talk about exposure and how to determine flash exposure and guide numbers. Please visit the site www.fotolinq.com for more training and more information. Thank you.